Hi, good day to you, Dr. Fatimah. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude for having the team members of Gun and Roses. They are really committed in completing this assignment. I would like to introduce the most capable young chap, Darren, all the way from Penang. He is a marketing expert in Intel Penang. Next with me today is a very dedicated guy by the name of HAFIZ. He is a training expert and attached with Jack Group. Who do we have next? Today with me is Maria Liliana, and she is all the way from Sarawak. This beautiful lady is an audiology expert with BMC Bintulu. Next with me, I have FAIZOL MUSA. This brilliant young man is an education consultant expert who attached to International Baccalaureate. Another excellent guy with me today is MOHAMED RAZNAUFAL. His expertise is in project handling. Currently, he is a project manager and work with nano enzyme technology. Last but not least, let me introduce myself. I am Douglas Su. My expertise is in sales and currently attached to Kenanga Investment and AIA Takaful.
Hi everyone, my name is Darren. So we are now going to talk about the assignments. So initially, when assignments was given and we were required to conduct an IV to understand about the strategy, human resource management issues in the era of pandemics. So we are puzzled. Which company should we choose? So we are just wondering who are the people behind the most aggressive face-to-face marketings like UNICEF, WWF, Magnas, and etc. I believe everyone agrees that they are very aggressive and persuasive. They always open booth in shopping malls and also in front of the banks. Upon surveying, we came to know about Sales Work Group Asia located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So we successfully got an appointment with the managers of human resource, Puan Rosita Side, and Ivy was held via Zooms for almost 2 hours. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hafiz, and I'll be introducing the company that our group has chosen for our study case. The company that we chose is called Salesworks Group Asia, or simply known as Salesworks, and previously was a part of international company called APCO Group, which is the pioneer of face-to-face marketing concept. Established in 1995, the company first opened its doors in Kuala Lumpur by the founder, Datuk James Iskandar Jaafar Greaves, who brought the concept from his previous marketing company in Australia. Starting with only a few brand ambassadors and one marketing company, Salesworks grew into a giant marketing activation company within 26 years of business and, as of today, has a presence in 9 countries across Asia. The company reached a milestone in 2018 when they acquired 100% shares of ownership of the company and detached itself from APCO Group and rebranded itself from APCO Group Asia to Salesworks Group Asia. Currently, Salesworks has 87 contracted marketing agencies with them across Asia that provides manpower for running face-to-face marketing for local and global clients such as UNHCR, WWF, and UNICEF. I'll pass to my team members, Maria.
Hello, my name is Maria. I want to share about company vision which is they want to become Asia premier sale activation agency by delivering high quality, high volume long-term customer while also enhancing and developing their client brands and reputation. They have 7 core value called PICCA or PICCCSA, which is launched at 2012. First P stand for patient, I stand for integrity, next 3C stand for challenge, communication and respect, and celebrations. S stand for staff improvement. Lastly, A stand for accountability. Next, they offer clients a way to introduce, advertise, and sell the products or service through the most powerful channel through face-to-face marketing by providing insight, administration, reporting, and training for clients. Salesworks contract directly with independent marketing companies and contractors who represent their client. Thank you.
Hi, good day to Dr. Fatimah and to my team Guns and Roses group. I am Muhammad RAZNAUFAL Muhammad Razi, and today I would like to present about my part, which is selective hiring. As we know, selective hiring is so important to the established company because it will help to prevent costly turnover staff. Based on our interview with Puan Rosita, we noted that there are so many changes with Salesworks Group Asia. They implemented steps and methods in terms of strategies in selection process during this era of pandemic COVID-19. The first is sales work has came out with an idea on how to attract the right people. They has decided to showcase why professionals should want to join them. Their strategy is through the job description. For them, a well-written job description is invaluable. It is very important to publish such a good job description advertisement clearly in terms of what does the company do, how does the role fit into this journey, what does the organization do. To apply job with Salesforce Group Asia, applicants must submit their application through the company's website or job boards such as JobStreet or LinkedIn. The second is resume screening. After the deadline, Salesforce has set to do resume for screening through the applicant's tracking system, ATC, and the selected managers will also do their part by choosing and screening the applicant's resumes. The shortlisted resume will be forwarded via email to the hiring managers. And the third is personality test. This third method aims to filter the shortlisted candidates and move those with a good personality and behaviors to the next step. According to the HR manager Puan Rosetta, this method will make candidates answer their test honestly, knowing their traits can help to understand and predict candidates' behavior. The big method to evaluate are conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. The fourth is interviews. Sales work set three stages of interviews through online and virtual ways. And these three steps of the interviews are telephone interviews. During the call, employers first try to determine if a candidate has the right education, experience, and knowledge to the job. And the second stage is video interviews. A video or virtual interview lets the employer observe candidates' body language and how they answer their questions. And the third is structured panel interviews. Individuals on the panel do planning on their questions based on interest or subject area and then divide them so each can interview the candidate. And the last method Salesforce Group Asia implemented is reference checks. At the end of the stage of the selection process, Salesforce use reference check as their final decision tool. This is important method to verify information about candidates from their previous employers or referees. This company will do a phone call to the referee and ask a series of prepared questions. All reference must be documented and the references for the successful candidate should be held on the personal file in HR. Once reference checks have completed, the right candidate will be hired and offer letter will be issued. And after all the selection process has been done, candidates will be hired and they will discuss about benefit, salaries, and more details about the organization. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mohamed FAIZOL bin MUSA, and I will be presenting on talent management at Salesforce Group Asia. Talent management is the constant process that involves attracting and retaining high-quality employees, developing their skills, and continuously motivating them to improve their performance. The primary purpose of talent management is to create a motivated workforce who will stay with the company in the long run. On this slide shows the talent management model. It includes planning, attracting, developing, retaining, and transitioning. For this case study at SalesWorks, we will be looking at the retaining and developing strategies. One of the purpose of talent management is to keep employees at our company longer. Employees need to continue feeling the company is enjoyable and a meaningful place to work. At SalesWorks, we have observed two aspects, culture and also the remuneration strategy. For culture, one of the important strategy for HR is to preserve the company's culture despite employees are working from home, and for new employees to be able to adapt with the new culture at SalesWorks, companies value and subsequently create synergy with the existing employees. Meanwhile, like many other companies globally, temporary pay cut was unavoidable during this pandemic. Salesforce had decided to cut the salary of its employee up to 60%. It certainly has affected the employees' motivation, and based on our interview with Puan Rosita, she mentioned that the company has met and had dialogue with the employees, including individual counseling session to talk about the issue. It has enabled the company to clarify the situation with the employees and convince them about their job security despite the salary deduction. It is also a temporary measure, and the salary will be readjusted back to normal situation in 2022. In terms of development, there are 4 areas: onboarding, performance, appraisal, performance management, learning, and career pathways. For onboarding, among the strategies taken by HR, as all employees are working from home during the pandemic, the orientation session for the new employees have been conducted virtually. Meetings with relevant and individual heads of department have been arranged to provide briefings about each department in SalesWorks. Meanwhile, company's intranet has been used to introduce new employees to all existing employees. New employees are able to access company's information, resources, quick links, forms, news stories, updates, and many more through the staff intranet. HR also introduced the buddy system where a senior staff member will become the mentor to guide and support the new employee. Secondly, the performance appraisal and performance management system. As the salary has been cut, HR has negotiated with the company's top management to adjust and lighten the KPIs for all employees. This has been a reasonable strategy in order to reduce stress among the employees. Meanwhile, although that initially the performance management system and appraisal system were disrupted in year 2020 during the MCO 1.0, but the process has returned to normal after that. Despite that, there were a few more lockdowns in Malaysia. The process has been managed virtually and smoothly as the company has learned the lesson. Thirdly, learning. Thanks to technology, the company has able to continue their internal training by using platforms such as Zoom and Microsoft Teams. Meanwhile, the training conducted by external providers will be using the platform offered by the external trainers. The company also granted access to its employee to use the LinkedIn Learning platform for self-learning at their own pace. Finally, career pathways. As SalesWorks faced the financial issue during the pandemic, the company initially decided to hold the job promotion. However, in early 2021, the company has decided as an alternative for promotion, those eligible employees' job title will be changed first, and they will get the increment during an agreed timeline, which is in 2022. By this strategy, more or less, it helps SalesWorks to retain and develop its talent, plus reducing the staff turnover during this difficult and challenging moment.
Hi, it's me again, Darren. So when it comes to performance measurements, it is a critical talent management functions in all organizations, no matter what the industry includes SalesWorks Group Asia. As due to the pandemic crisis, the management of SalesWorks has surely uh, disrupted the employee performance measurements and discontinued their usual way of measuring performance. Due to the consequences, it has brought out issues to the company. So as right now, we have pointed out 3 issues SalesWorks is facing. So issue number 1 is discontinuing performance measurements and missing performance data for a significant periods may put the company in a vulnerable legal positions as there is no increments, no bonus, and with the salary deductions of 60% to employee from year 2020 to 2021. So issue number 2 is the absence of software or technology to be used for measuring the employee performance in earlier days. During the pandemic, simplicities and adaptabilities become critical. With the proper system, management can measure all levels in group by units or the entire organization as well. So issue number 3 is has lacks of connections, monitorings, and also the immediate access to the managers that affects the performance measurements of an employee. It becomes lesser guidance, motivations, positive feedbacks, and psychologist interactions that affects the key to assess the company's strategy directions. So for the next slides, we will talk about the recommendations and also the barrel. So no matter how SalesWorks Group Asia must continue the performance measurements back again, there are some few recommendations SalesWorks Group Asia may apply for performing measurements. So the recommendations is apply performance management systems with the minimum requirements as for the starting point and to keep tracks everything back The minimum requirements could be lesson marks or the key results and self-development, etc. to ensure there is a data records and performance trackings, no matter how. So secondly, will be another alternative way to continue the performance measurements is management may apply the balanced scorecard to assist in the perspective of performance measurements on their financials, customers, internals, or operations, and learning and growth. The balanced scorecard will produce quality and faster way of result-driven compared to the traditional way of performance management. Another recommendations will be for managers to conduct a bi-weekly call with employees to check on the work performance issues and feedbacks from the employee. Is in psychology terms, the discussion will be more aligned on the topics to build more results and better behaving finding. So as you can see, beside is the barrel. So using a performance management systems will take a longer time for the result driven due to the longer step of measurements. And so for the balance scorecard, it has a limitations on the measurements and it can't provide detailed data results if compared to performance management system. And so lastly, for the bi-weekly call, we have like difficulties like internet interruptions, limited times for discussions, understanding, and also explaining. So therefore, it is not easy to justify, but when it comes to a long run, it will shows the improvements of overall results. Thank you.
Hello, it's Maria again. For this slide, I would like to talk about rewards and compensation issues have occurred, and I also like giving some recommendation to overcome the issues and the barrier to implement all the recommendation. As we know, pay is powerful tools for furthering organization strategic goals, which bringing large impact to employee attitude and behavior. This is some issue that happen to employee rewards and compensation in cell work during this pandemic. First issue is employee salary cut up to 60%. This happened when management in order to control management financial and cash flow. Second issue is no increment and bonuses for 2020, 2021 until 2022. Third issue is company revoke all the car park benefits. Fourth issue is management has limit for all the claim requested by their employee. Lastly is regarding unclaimable internet access fee for all employee to complete their task assigned during their working from home. As a human resource management, I recommend a proper planning and diligent effort using right tools will help motivate employees and build a great culture will help overcome these issues without become cost rift between employees and management. First, management can give individual incentive to motivate and increase their performance to replace bonuses and increment, but need take into consideration of two important aspects. First aspect is payment not rolled into base pay and it must be continually re-earned. Second aspect is to measure their performance by physical output instead of using subjective performance. Next, I would like to suggest them to provide space and time for team bonding to support employee mental health during working from home. Means leaders play important roles to create specific opportunities to connect with their teams. For example, by include happy hour session, story sharing time, and also can playing games without coworker during virtual meeting and training. Last suggestion is to giving a group incentive and teams award to group that achieve company target during pandemic. It can show that management appreciate the group effort to bring profit to organization even during pandemic. Lastly is for the barrier. I will share some barrier both parties may face to implement this recommendation. First, without a careful planning, it can cause large new labor costs and may generate a large bureaucracy for the organization. Second, all management decision has to highlight different currency exchange rate and labor costs by each country. Lastly, low participate by some team members to contribute and giving their ideas will become barrier for the group to achieve the target and to increase their performance, to bring profit for organization, and also will prevent the getting team award and incentive through healthy competition. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, it's me, Hafiz again. I'll be talking about training and development in Sales Work Asia. So since the start of the pandemic in 2019, the world as we know it has changed. Face-to-face activities are still, until today, is limited. And organizations and companies around the world had to do something to adapt to the situation in ensuring their survival. HR department specifically has evolved in this short period of time in how they run things. One of the roles in HR department that going through this adaptation is training management. Prior to pandemic era, training activities usually will be done physically, where trainers and trainees will meet at a designated venue where trainings will be held. But when COVID-19 struck, this kind of interaction can no longer be done, and most physical activities has been prohibited in order to reduce the spread of the disease and to save lives. But as many knows, ongoing learning of employees is very important and it should be continued for the benefit of employees and the company. Companies like SalesWorks adapted to change by converting their physical trainings to virtual via online platforms such as Zoom and Teams. Of course, it brings a lot of benefit to the company, such as reducing the cost of trainings as the company no longer need to pay for venue, trainers' flights and accommodations, food, and many more. However, based on our interview with Puan Rosetta, we discovered that there are some issues from having trainings online. Among the issues that came up is the first one is unstable internet connection. As we all know, even though we are living in an era where technology capabilities are at its best, the stability of internet connection is somewhat an issue anywhere. Since the pandemic, the employees of SalesWorks has been working from home and they are using their own personal internet to do their works and to attend trainings online. There were many reports where the connection is down or too slow that the participants sometimes get disconnected during training session and are unable to rejoin. This creates problem and interrupts the session. The second issue that was being highlighted is how almost 80% of the employees in SalesWorks are using old devices. It's been told to us that when a new employee joins the company, they usually will be provided with a laptop that belonged to the previous employee who left the company. This is actually a quite normal practice anywhere, but normally according to corporate policy of SalesWorks, every device should be replaced after 2 years. But because of limited budget, the company chose to keep the devices as long as possible. So after a few years of heavy use, most laptops are now operating poorly and this creates problem for virtual training. There are a few devices that has been reported unable to support some advanced applications. The third issue is the employee itself who resists the virtual trainings held by the company. So these are the group very conservative employees who are reluctant and some refuse to join the online trainings for various of excuses. For example, like giving excuses like time constraint or unable to concentrate via e-platforms, and they would rather and would prefer the traditional ways of doing trainings. So for all of these issues, we came up with a few suggestions or recommendations that would help in controlling and managing the problems. The first one, the company could provide a benefit to its employees by giving them allowance on internet usage where they could claim or upgrade their current internet at home so that they would have a more stable internet connection. This will definitely reduce the chances of participants being disconnected during trainings. The second one, SalesWorks definitely need to invest on better devices for its employees in ensuring that they would continue productivity and do their job properly. Of course, it costs money, but at this era where technology advancement changes rapidly, having an outdated devices will not only giving problems during trainings, but also the productivity of the company as a whole. They could also change only certain parts instead of the whole thing. This could actually save a little bit of money, but at the same time ensuring that devices are up to date. The third one is clarification to the employees. SalesWorks should approach its employees and explain to them the benefit of e-learning, which is a lot, and how it will improve their experience for the better. All employees, on the other hand, should be more flexible in adapting to changes. Next, I will explain a little bit about the barriers. So although we provided some suggestions, there are still barriers that could act as a roadblock. First, since the company suffered quite heavily, especially in terms of finance during this pandemic, because they could not do sales. It will be difficult for the company to spend more on employees' benefit and also providing them with better devices, as it will cost more money and definitely will affect more on the company finances. And the second one, the conservative employees, that even though we gave them explanation and approached them, these employees might still refuse to participate in e-learning because it's hard for them to adapt to the sudden changes, and they will feel like it is too much of an effort to actually do everything just to join the trainings. Thank you.
Hi, it's me again, Douglas. Okay, I would like to touch on employees' job satisfaction. With current pandemic issue that prolonged for almost 2 years, it has been a tough situation for sales work HR department to deal with. Most employees don't feel the real working satisfaction, where it leads to heavy resignation. Retention rate tends to be very bad. Okay, first let's look into first factor, which is pay, bonus, and increment. During pandemic, sales work staff salary have been reduced by 60%. Just imagine what will happen to their bank commitments, children at home, and also their parents. Salary of 10,000 reduced to 4,000. It is a very big difference. This is one of the reasons sales work staff feel stressful and tender their resignation. They believe better salary can be offered by other companies. Those who stay and still loyal, they just work as usual. End of 2020 was a nightmare where they don't receive any bonus payout and also increment. It was a sad scenario that everyone in the company have to face. Besides that, having fun and positive working environment is another aspect that human resource department is fighting to solve the issue. Newly onboarded staff never have the opportunity to work from office. Interview was done online since the first day. They didn't have the chance to know their colleagues in sales work. Almost 2 years working from home has led to lack of motivation. End up, most of them left the company and look for something more interesting. Okay, third issue is on job security. Retrenchment took place during COVID-19, especially for redundant departments such as training department. Some were lucky to be transferred to other departments. Some have to bid goodbye. When this practice took place, other employees from other departments felt insecure and they voluntarily resigned. Okay, let me share on the recommendation to solve this problem faced by HR department in sales work. Okay, first, sales work can frequently conduct online activities to cement the relationship among employees, especially the new one. Activities can be like Zumba session or motivational talks. Second is to conduct an employee survey on quarterly basis to understand about the employee's current standing. They are free to give any comment in the survey. Third, company can start to work in office with certain percentage of occupancy as proposed by the government. Last but not least is to share the profit and loss of the company to make sure existing employee understand how COVID-19 has hit the company financially. Okay, however, there are barriers in carrying out those recommendations. Okay, first is on the online activities as I suggested, such as Zumba. If session is held, it will be a mixture of men and women. So therefore, most of them will turn off the camera, especially for Muslim lady. It is against the practice to dance with the existing of opposite sex. Besides that, it is difficult to conduct an activity that can suit all employees. So the turn-up rate will be not encouraging. Second is on the employee survey. Some employees will not be giving a genuine feedback. They will fill up just for the sake of completing it. End of the day, the result doesn't help sales work to settle this issue. If we talk about work from office, it will be a good idea. However, to make sure all employees obey to current SOP will be very challenging. We have seen many factories and office were badly affected with the virus when SOP is not properly followed. End up, it will ruin the whole situation. Last but not least, for a company to share their profit and loss, it will be the biggest secret of the company. So sales work might not be convenient to share the whole financial status of the company with all their employees. Thank you very much.
Hi, it's me again, RAZNAUFAL. From our interview, report, and presentation, we may conclude that during this pandemic, HR role has become more challenging. They have to face many issues to be settled, and from all the various problems happen, HR plays the most critical role in managing the workforce. Effective HR strategies are important, such as retention and development. So they have to plan the strategies and follow the rules of HR management to make it smooth and clearly. We have provided recommendations to the contemporary management issues and help the company to identify possible barriers in implementing those recommendations effectively. And we hope through our recommendation from our group, it will help Salesforce Group Asia to settle up their issues that happened during this era of pandemic COVID-19.
Hi, Faizol again. As reflections to our team, as all of us are coming from non-HR background, we, the member of Guns N' Roses group, are able to analyze the important and strategic role of human resource management, HRM, in ensuring success of the business despite the disruptions due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Our group members are able to evaluate the human resource management HRM practices during the pandemic at Salesworks and also made observation and some recommendation to our own workplaces. Thank you to Puan Rosita for joining our interview session. Thank you to Dr. Fatimah for giving us this work-based task so that we can learn something new and also knowledge about the strategic human resource management, and to everyone from Guns N' Roses group for giving your full cooperation.